I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room for our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the Coach's Corner. My name is Marcus Salette. Assuredly, I bring to the table my own personal and professional issues, but I also bring to the table the wisdoms of life from having understood that I too must grow and mature. And I trust that you will give or allow me to earn the right to speak into your life. Welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner. Today, we want to talk about the Black Sheep Syndrome. That syndrome that says, I don't belong. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. And by no means should anything I say in this program on this topic should be considered a diagnosis. And if you have any kind of personality disorder or psychological disorder or challenge, I strongly suggest that you see and inquire of a diagnosis and therapy from your own doctors. Having said that, are you ready? Alrighty. I am encouraged when I come to the microphone every single day to share straight from my heart. And one of the things that I try to do is tap into pain trigger areas that would allow me to understand me. And I know that you think that I am only coming to the microphone because of you, but that is not necessarily always the case. The Black Sheep Syndrome was, even though I never articulated it that way, was an experience of a lifetime for me. That feeling that you don't belong, I think, comes early when you have abandonment issues, trust issues, emotional management issues, early in life. And when I say early, I mean during the developmental years of your life, even prior to your memory of the developmental years. This syndrome, perhaps, and I'm calling it a syndrome. I haven't read anywhere that it is a syndrome, but that's what I'm calling it. This syndrome acquires a certain right, excuse, based on true, accurate, factual litigated issues and incidents and accidents that occurred in your life. In other words, yes, those things, those people, that place all contribute to the pain that you perhaps feel, the trust that perhaps you don't have, the articulation of victimization that you so eloquently share every time you get into a crutch. The legitimacy of the black sheep syndrome is not the question today. The legitimacy of the fact that you feel that you don't belong, particularly to your family, or particularly to church body, or particularly to the clique or the group. In fact, the human experience may or may not, based on the personality of the person living the life, the human experience does offer dark seasons where you feel you don't belong, even if you had a healthy early childhood development. So what I want to clear up for you, if you're suffering from the past and it seems like your life won't last, and you're continuing to digest the present with the lens of yesterday, I want you to understand that everyone at some point or another may or may not feel the same way you do. The intensity of the abuse that you may have endured, the intensity of the arguments that you may have litigated, and the intensity of response to attempt to survive and to attempt to restart, reignite some sense of normalcy in your life is not shy of the fact that you are not the only one experiencing that quote-unquote feeling, I don't belong. In fact, as I said earlier, and it bears repeating, that this is part of the human experience. Dark days and seasons when you feel like crap. Dark days and seasons, or seasons and days of the lack of understanding that seems to overwhelm your sense of progression, and perhaps in some cases seems to hinder. But I want to go back to a philosophy that I've been teaching on my show for a while now. If it's to be, it's up to me. If I want to be free, and I do realize and accept and understand, and I pass this truth on to you, that I am the common denominator in every situation. Though I am not discounting that you have been victimized, though we are not discounting that you may or may not have deep-rooted psychological, social, financial, I mean, you go all around the table, social, spiritual issues. Just because I have issues, or I may have issues that are undiagnosed by a professional, does not give me the right to use that as a whip to say that I'm doing this because I'm acting this way. And you know what? I'm just being truthful, and I'm being real with you, that we still hold on to the accusation method. We still hold on to that. Some of the best of us do it. I mean, one of the ways to look at this whole situation is that the whole I don't belong feeling is to make you sharp as hell and ready for heaven, ready for the best. You see, sharp as hell means that you're hot and not lukewarm. You feel me? Fire can definitely be called fire and nothing less than fire, because when fire is fire, fire is hot. You see what I'm saying? The authenticity of healing has to be found in accurate descriptions of what is and a forecast of what can be. And though the facts may articulate a truth that I am not always willing to have diagnosed, that yes, I was rejected, and yes, I was abandoned, and yes, I was turned down, and yes, I was turned out, and yes, I was abused, and yes, I was this, and yes, I was that, does not negate the fact that now I am in this season. And though as that season painted me, or I perceived, you see, as I said, the common denominator to any resolution where you are involved, where I am involved, is the fact that I was there. I mean, maybe I was too young to do anything. Okay. Maybe I was too defenseless. All right. Maybe I was not knowledgeable enough. Okay. Maybe I just did not have the strength to fight back. Okay. I didn't know it was going to go down like that. Okay. I was naive. Okay. Okay, at what point are you going to stop making legitimate excuses and say, but now? The feeling that I don't belong could be very well authentically felt, is my point. You may be running in circles now that you feel you don't belong, but you run in those circles because you are attempting to fulfill a particular mission or goal, to bring your business or bring your job-seeking journey to another level, or whatever the case may be, or to fall in love or to find a mate. But you still feel inside, deep in the crevice, in the corner, in the back of your subconscious mind, you still feel like I don't belong. Well, listen, my job is to get you to the finish line. I'm not a doctor. But my job is to get you to the finish line. And listen, I'm going to admit to you that we may cross the finish line injured here. There is no guarantee that we were not. I'm not trying to finish first, okay? I'm not trying to come in the first place at the end of this journey. I am just simply trying to finish well. And that's what my life's assignment is. I'm not saying to you that you're going to all of a sudden, because you look at yourself as the common denominator in every situation, and that you realize that you must change you for things that you look at to change. But I am saying to you this, that we have to move past the past in order for our lives to mean something, and in order for our legacy to last. We can't keep looking in the rear view mirror. It doesn't negate the fact that you still, to this day, you've married, you found a love, you found a great job, you finally found out how to hold your temper. God knows that we need help right there. You finally found a resting place at your local assembly, or your local church or mosque, or whatever the case may be. You've made peace with your God, you think, and you have suppressed perhaps the feeling, I don't belong, but it yet still pops up. No matter how you suppress it, it's just a feeling. Take it easy. It's just a feeling. It may or may not be accurate. It may or not, like say, the weather forecast, cloudy, overcast. And I want you to look at it that way, because that's how I'm going to look at it. What's the weather for you today? Cloudy, overcast, possibility of rain, high humidity, a clashing of cold and hot, warm and hot air. All of the attributes are in place. All of the factors are in place for you to actually feel like you don't belong. I'm just telling you, everything is in place. That's why some people can't get married. That's why some people can't have a relationship. That's why some people struggle in the relationship that they have, because they have not learned how to master this particular issue. And there are other issues, but this particular issue of feeling like I don't belong, feeling like I don't. And so sometimes when you feel like you don't belong, in association with that, notice I said in association, because feelings don't run by themselves. They have buddies. I'm just going to put this in this little category because I'm not going to go to an apostolic type deliverance type talk, because I have that training as well. But I just want to put it in terms that you can understand from a coaching model perspective, that this feeling does not run alone. It has its own buddies. Usually when you feel like you don't belong, you also feel like you don't deserve what you aspire to achieve. Though you tell your friends and your family that you do, inside there is a truth that you had embraced long ago, but you have deceived yourself into thinking that you can achieve what you believe until you fall short many times over, and you do your own investigation and find out that there is still yet fear there. That this sense of I don't belong is also coupled with other things that seem to be the drivers of the reason why you cannot achieve the level that you so aspire to. And those other drivers are like hand in glove in your personality, in your emotional management journey. The fact that you just don't feel like you don't belong, but you also feel that you don't deserve. Now, I know some, if you're listening to me in private, I understand, but some of you guys out there and gals out there are so sophisticated that you have masked this, and you have done a very great job. I'll give you a hand clap. No one has a freaking idea how deep these feelings are inside of your thought processes. No one has a clue. I mean, you got your makeup, you got a bad behind body, or you working out and you impress people with the weights. I mean, your car is banging, you know what I'm saying? You got a great kid, or you got a great relationship, you sing in the choir, you may be a pastor, you are bad to the bone in business and know how to make a dang on profit, but deep down inside you have these feelings, and you feel that you were, and to some degree still have, the black sheep syndrome. And I'm just confirming for you that you very well may be right, based on the set of circumstances that set you up for the initiation of this feeling from your early childhood development journey. But I am also saying that, number one, I don't belong, don't travel alone. Put that in your notes. I don't belong never travels alone. There are buddies that run with him or her, if you want to give that title, a her. I don't belong runs with I don't deserve. I don't deserve also runs with I didn't do it, or what did I do? You're in a relationship and you're going along well, and then you have a psychotic backtracking to a statement that covers you from all fault and exonerates you from all responsibility and accountability. That famous statement that our teenagers say to us as parents, what did I do? As if your life, especially when you're in covenant or in love with someone, is totally deciphered by only you. And so when faced with a confrontation that challenges the presentation of your so-called quote-unquote love for whatever, you're challenged and you run to the statement, well, what did I do? So I don't belong never runs alone. It runs with buddies. It also runs with fear. Because if you feel you don't belong, then you're going to have a reservation to proceed ahead, with the exception of how will I do it, except I have some company. And I want to close out by giving you these thoughts right here. You can overcome partially the black sheep syndrome by accepting aloneness and finding out and discovering what assignment is so significant in my destiny that I must tap into while I am in my alone time. See, part of the problem is we don't teach solace. We don't teach peace. We don't teach tranquil movement. We don't teach, at least in the Western country, as regards to Christianity, at least, we don't teach meditative thoughts. We don't teach transformation meditation in our daily adoration of, or our aspiration of, our destiny and purpose. We don't teach these things. This is not something I read. These things that I share from you are straight from my heart, okay? They're straight from my heart. They're straight from my heart and my experience. It's sad that we are more, a great speaker once said, we are sin conscious. And so if I turn the tables on, we are negative conscious. In other words, we think that just because something goes wrong, that it is wrong, and that there is no right way to look at it to change the wrong that I perhaps may be looking at. You know, perception alone can change the actual rock of experience. In other words, when I change the way I look at things, the things that I look at can change. But the perception of it is almost central. So the black sheep syndrome, perhaps perceptively, is correct and accurate. But to change the I don't belong syndrome's effect on destiny, I've got to figure out, to me now, just to me, I've got to figure out, then why do I feel this way now? Why do I feel this way now? Why do I feel that I don't belong now? Why do I feel that I am alone now? Why do I have a fear, a reservation from proceeding forth beyond that which I'm, watch this, because this is how you know you have fear, beyond this which I have no confidence in confronting? I felt that right there. No confidence. Fear is when you are reserved to confront something with any confidence of having come out on the other side a winner. I got a ticket. I was driving. I left the studio and I was not really paying attention. I was really in a slow, just out of this body temporarily or something, whatever, something crazy, right? And I was doing the speed limit was 45, so I think the speed limit was 40 or 45. So I was doing 40 or 45, but I didn't realize it was a school zone. I really didn't. So I got pulled over and I got the ticket and everything. But you know what was really, I mean, the ticket rattled me just a tiny bit, but it didn't faze me for some reason. I don't know where that came from. I was pissed, of course, for a quick second. But then I recognized, psychologically speaking, that I had the opportunity to face what travels with this black sheep syndrome. One of the things that travels with it is fear. Fear that you're going to be in trouble. Fear that something bad's going to happen. Fear that you're not going to be able to hold out on, a situation that you have to face or something. And I have to go. I said, well, I'm not going to pay the ticket because, I don't feel that I'm guilty. I mean, even though he says, that's another thing. That's another thing I want to talk about one of these days. The truth that others declare as our truth has become their lie that we have embraced as truth. Rewind the tape and listen to that statement again. But the point of the matter is this. I'm going to go to court. Why am I going to go to court? Because I don't feel that I'm guilty. And second of all, I don't feel like that I want to pay right now, maybe $200 or $150. I don't feel like I should have to pay that. But what's interesting is how I feel about the ticket. And what I was going to say is this. It's an opportunity for me to face my fear regarding courts. Because I really, I'm starting, I ordered, for those of you that listen to me regularly, I ordered some herbal teas that I am so waiting for them to come to in the mail. I didn't pay for any special shipping or anything. So I am so waiting for them to come in the mail because I am really trying to learn how to relax, okay? I am really interested in changing my life, man, from the inside. I'm telling you, I am so freaking interested in changing my life that I ordered some herbal teas that will calm me and that will soothe me and that will help undergird and give me better sleep and, some internal cleansing, things like that. Because I promise you, I am interested in changing me. Now, I come on the air every single day, whether you like it or not, whether you talk to me or not, whether you email us or not, follow us or not, and I share straight from our heart. But I promise you, these shares are straight from my heart. And as regards to this ticket, it's just simply an opportunity for me to face the fears that I have developed over the years from my early childhood development journey about court and about things that happen that others say is truth or factual, but how they, through my perception and through my objectivity, I felt that right there, pushing me to know that I still win in the end, that even in that moment's experience, I stand to benefit and that it is not a loss because someone else diagnosed that moment as a violation or transgression of the law. I felt something push me right there. That just because it happened the way they said it happened, it doesn't negate the fact that I have to be accountable to the authority of that declared truth. But it also gives me a chance to exercise my social therapeutic objectivity to overcome what I know inside of me is there. The fear that a situation that's declared a bad mark, a bad move by an authority would never benefit me. Well, I beg to differ. You see how you have to take that black sheep syndrome. My time is gone. You have to take that black sheep syndrome and turn it around for your benefit. And stop using the fact that you don't feel like you belong as a means to an end to get your way, to manipulate, to articulate a position that you truly don't hold, to pretend like you're something that you really are not. Maybe your destiny's call calls for you to feel that you don't belong. Maybe you have some specialty that you're supposed to offer the world. Maybe you need to be in greater meditation. Maybe you need more space and more alone time for creativity. The point of the matter is you have to take BSS, black sheep syndrome, the feeling that I don't belong, and turn it. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. You gotta turn it. You gotta turn it around. The facts are facts, so they say. The truth is the truth, so they say. But as for me and my house, BSS will not rule. And I am also confident of the fact that I will discover other residents who have been living without paying rent I don't belong has not been living alone in your mind. I don't deserve has a seat. I fear or may not have the courage to face has a seat. You got a whole clan living inside of there, okay? So you got to overcome. You got to overcome, and overcome is to admit, and to admit is to confess, and to confess is to analyze, and to analyze is to meditate, and to meditate is to be quiet and be still and look at all sides of the coin and realize if it's to be, it is up to me to be free. This is the coach. Follow me if you can.
You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station.
Hi, Jamaica Chapel, College Park, Georgia, in the house. You're listening to SIBN Radio.
Hi, this is Ted Bones calling from Richmond, Virginia, and you're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up now.
Hi, this is VJ Washington calling from Atlanta, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. So turn it up.
Hi, my name is Sonia Claiborne from East St. Louis, Illinois, by way of Carruthersville, Missouri. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Turn it up.
What's good? It's your boy Joe coming from Snellville, Georgia. You're listening to the Lifestyle Improvement Station, SIBN Radio. Y'all turn it up.
You're listening to the sounds of your lifestyle improvement station, changing the way we live. SIBN FM, powered by Select USA TV.
We interrupt this program to simply say thank you for your listenership here on SIBN Radio. We do not take what you're giving to us for granted. By all means, we invite you to be a part of our family in a deeper way. You can visit our websites, www.sibntelevision.com. You'll see a community page at the top there, and you can join free of charge with your email and share your thoughts, pictures, and so much more right there on the site. And for those of you that would like to listen more regularly to our block programming, you can visit www.sibnradio-by-selectusatv.com. We're now looking for interns for the SIBN networks, and there is no shortage of work that needs to be done. Simply email us your bio or resume to globalcoverage@selectusatv.info. New programming is always a consideration here at the networks, and we invite you to share your ideas, concepts, or vision. As we move forward with a global multimedia platform, we expect great things. We now want to return you to your regularly scheduled program. And again, from our hearts to yours, thank you.
You're listening to SIBN Radio on the Select USA TV iBroadcasting Network. You're listening to SIBN Radio.